Yeah, I think most people looked at the news of October 7th and they discovered very quickly that over 500, maybe 1,000 Gazan civilians volunteered to go in and opportunistically rape and kill as civilians, not as part of a terrorist organization. And then everybody was on the street supporting Hamas in the days after and spitting and hitting hostages. So they got the feeling correctly so that the vast majority of people in Gaza and the West Bank would like to destroy Israel. And that's exactly the sentiment that I saw on the Stanford campus every day walking to my office. From the river to the sea, every day they were chanting. So there's not going to be a two-state solution. What there's going to be is some sort of wall. I think you'll see a demilitarized zone between Gaza and southern Israel. And there will be a kind of a border wall, but there will be a demilitarized area, and there will be some type of international aid or maybe Gulf aid that will try to rebuild Gaza. But Israel is not going to allow that to be a state right next to it. And I think they're going to make it very clear that for every time there's a terrorist incursion from the West Bank or Gaza, there's going to be a retaliatory response. It's unbearable for the Palestinians. And we'll see what happens. It depends on a lot on the American administration. Because if you had a conservative Republican administration, they might have the rhetoric, but they would not believe that Gazans can be trusted to have another one election, one time type of phenomenon. And I think they would do other things that would really change the situation. I think a Republican, from what I understand, if you're one of the 200,000 students from the Middle East and you commit a crime in the United States, they would deport you, yank your student visa. And they would not be influenced by the Michigan Electoral College vote. And it would be very, I'm not saying that they would give Israel a blank check. They're just not going to be sympathetic to a two-state solution. And everybody says, well, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is protecting Israel from the West Bank and Gaza and hoping that both those areas evolve. But they do, as they evolve, they understand that if they are going to repeat October 7th, it's going to repeat what happened to them after October 7th, again and again and again. It is, I mean, there's people in Lebanon are getting very angry at Hezbollah. I mean, the Lebanese minister said Israel should not attack us because we have not recovered from 2006. He said that at the beginning. And again, there's no sympathy in these devastating pictures of Israeli attacks on apartment buildings in Beirut. But when you start to look at them carefully, in most cases, the initial bomb is followed by sequential explosions from rocketry and other munitions that are going up. And so the question is, why in the world would you allow people to store these munitions in your apartment? And if you do so, would you blame Israel that they're being used to attack the Jewish state? Well, of course not. You can't. So Israel has been I think they've been very clever, smart, astute in the way they've responded to these existential threats. And they're still, they haven't invaded Lebanon in force. I don't think that would be wise. They still they're the only country in the world. Ukrainians don't call up people in the Donbass and Crimea on their cell phones and say, we're going to reply to Russian aggression with a attack that might incur civilian casualties. It's only Israel that we put these conditions upon. And I think they've done admirably well.